The reason a single bad moment can completely poison your entire day, well, it has almost nothing to do with your mindset, your positivity, or your willpower. We've all been taught that a bad mood is some kind of psychological puzzle that we need to analyze and think our way out of. But what if that's exactly why we stay stuck? The truth is, a bad mood isn't some mystery of the mind you need to solve. It's a physical state that's trapped in your body. And in this explainer, we're going to learn how to find the breaker switch and perform a full manual override.
It's a feeling we all know, right? That frustrating loop where you're telling yourself, just get over it. But that feeling of irritation or anxiety just digs its heels in even deeper. You try to reason with it, but it's like trying to have a calm debate with a tornado. Look, this isn't a personal failing. It's a biological mismatch. You're trying to use the logical software of your conscious mind to fix a hardware problem that's happening on a completely different operating system, the primal chemical language of your nervous system.
And this right here, this is the entire paradigm shift. The old way, it keeps us trapped in our own heads, right? Ruminating, trying to solve our feelings like a detective at a crime scene. But the new way, it gives us direct control. It reframes a bad mood not as some character flaw, but as a chemical snapshot, a physical event in the body that you can deliberately and systematically change. The goal is no longer to understand the mood, the goal is to reset the machine.
So, here's our roadmap for this. First, we're going to deconstruct the willpower trap. Then we'll dive into the biology of your chemical snapshot. We'll introduce the three-part biological reboot and explain the science that makes it all work with the body's remote control. Then we get tactical with your 5-minute reset. And finally, we'll talk about how to master your state for good.
All right, let's start with the fundamental myth that gets almost everyone stuck. It's this idea that you can, or even should, use sheer mental force to conquer a bad mood. We've been told our whole lives, mind over matter, right? That a strong mind can overcome anything. But when it comes to the raw chemistry of stress, this brute force approach almost always backfires, spectacularly. It just makes us feel even worse when it inevitably fails.
And here is the central paradox, the crazy part. Focusing on your bad mood, analyzing it, questioning it, judging yourself for even having it, doesn't solve it. It fuels it. It's like trying to put out a fire by describing the color of the flames. You're just giving precious energy and attention to the very state you want to escape, which only deepens the neural pathways of that negative feeling and keeps the stress hormones circulating.
So if willpower is the wrong tool for the job, what's actually going on inside of us when a bad moment hits? Well, it all comes down to the biology of a single moment and how our ancient survival systems are designed to respond to threats, whether that threat is a lion on the savannah or, just a passive-aggressive email from a coworker. I think we can all relate to this concept, the emotional snowball. It starts small. One little trigger, that rude email, a project glitch, someone cutting you off in traffic. In that instant, your body gets a physiological spike. Your heart rate quickens, your muscles tense up. But the real problem isn't the spike itself. It's that it doesn't just go away. It lingers, becoming the background static for the rest of your day, coloring every single thing that happens after.
Let's break this down. That lingering bad mood is what we call a chemical snapshot. The moment you're triggered, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline just flood your system. Now here's the crucial part. These hormones literally take your prefrontal cortex, your logic and reason center, partially offline. Your brain then shifts into a threat bias state where it's actively scanning for more things to be upset about. Why? Just to stay consistent with the tension it feels in your body. So you see, it's not a mindset issue, it's a systems issue. You failed to clear your body's chemical RAM, and now you're trying to run complex software while your processor is stuck in a fight-or-flight loop from 3 hours ago.
Okay, so we get it. The problem is biological, not psychological. So, what's the solution? If we can't think our way out, we need a different way in. And this is where we introduce the protocol, a tactical physical intervention designed to completely bypass your thoughts and perform a full system reboot on your nervous system.
And I want to be crystal clear here. We are not negotiating with our feelings. We are not gently coaxing our minds into a better place. This protocol is a forceful override. It is a set of manual commands that use your body's own hardwired mechanisms to force your nervous system out of that defensive, stress state and back into a state of calm.
And here they are, the 3 layers of that override. First, the thermal shock. This uses a rapid temperature change to slam the brakes on your heart rate. Second, the somatic flush, which uses explosive movement to physically metabolize and just expel stress chemicals from your system. And third, the vagal brake, which uses a very specific breathing pattern to send a direct, undeniable signal of safety to your brain.
This isn't about calming a screaming siren. It's about pulling the plug on its power source.
Now, this might sound great in theory, but it is so important to understand why it works so well. This isn't magic, it's pure physiology. These steps are precisely designed to leverage specific, powerful biological systems that act like a remote control for your brain, allowing you to manually adjust your own mood.
The whole thing is built on a principle called bottom-up regulation. For decades, we've been obsessed with top-down approaches. Change your thoughts to change your feelings. But your brain is constantly, subconsciously taking cues from your body to decide if you're safe or threatened. Is my heart racing? Are my muscles tense? The point is, if you want to change your mental state quickly and reliably, the most effective path is to first change your physical state. Change the body, and the brain has no choice but to follow.
So let's look at the incredible science behind step 1, the thermal shock. All mammals, including you and me, have this powerful survival circuit called the Mammalian Dive Reflex. When cold water hits your face, especially around your nose and cheeks, it triggers a hardwired biological response that instantly slows your heart rate to conserve oxygen. It's your body's built-in emergency brake, a relic from our aquatic ancestors, and it sends this powerful signal to your brain to halt everything and calm down now.
And the other 2 steps work just as directly. The somatic flush, the shaking and jumping, isn't just a distraction. That aggressive physical movement literally helps your body metabolize the cortisol and adrenaline that are stuck in your muscles. Then, the vagal brake, that specific physiological sigh, manually stimulates the vagus nerve, which is basically the main highway for your rest and digest nervous system. Each step is a direct command. Together, what you're doing is flushing your chemical RAM, clearing the static, and bringing your thinking brain back online. Okay, we've covered the what and the why. It is time for the how. Let's move from theory to a direct, actionable guide you can use the very next time you feel that negative spiral starting. This is your tactical plan to reclaim your day.
That's it. That is all the time it takes. 5 minutes. Just 300 seconds is the difference between letting a bad moment become a bad day and taking decisive surgical control of your internal state. Don't wait for the mood to pass. It won't. You have to act.
Here is the exact protocol. The moment you feel it, go. First, for 30 seconds, thermoshock. Get to a sink, turn the tap as cold as it goes, and splash water all over your face and neck. Really feel that cold shock your system. Second, for 60 seconds, somatic flush. Find a private spot, an office, a stairwell, whatever, and just shake. Shake your arms, your legs, jump up and down. The movement should be aggressive. You are literally shaking the stress out. Finally, for 2 full minutes, the vagal brake. Stand still and take 10 deep physiological sighs. That's 2 quick inhales through your nose, followed by 1 long, slow, complete exhale through your mouth.
Now, here's the most important instruction for those 5 minutes. Do not analyze your mood. Do not reason with it. Actively stop that internal chatter. The entire process has to be physical, not cognitive. The goal is singular, to walk away with a clean chemical slate, no longer hijacked by what happened earlier. So let's zoom out. This 5-minute protocol isn't just some clever trick. It represents a fundamental shift in how you relate to your own internal world. It's a shift from being a passive victim of your feelings to becoming the active architect of your state. It's about realizing you have so much more control than you ever thought possible. Now, I know that might sound provocative, but it is the empowering truth at the heart of all this. Once you have the tools to reset your nervous system, letting a bad moment snowball into a bad day, that becomes a choice. You now have an alternative. You have a protocol. The power to interrupt the pattern is back in your hands. And this is the transformation. Before, a single stressor could derail hours of your day, leaving you feeling helpless. Now, you can see your day not as one long, fragile timeline, but as a series of distinct, resettable moments. You can interrupt the pattern. You can clear the slate and begin again anytime you need to. So, to distill all of this down into a simple command you can remember in a moment of high stress, we need a new mantra, a guiding principle for taking back control when your mind starts to spiral. And this is your final takeaway. Remember that you are the architect of your internal state. Stress is not a thought that needs to be analyzed. It's a chemical that needs to be metabolized and flushed from your system. Ultimately, high performance isn't about doing more. It's about mastering the biological systems that make focus and calm effortless. And that mastery begins with this simple 5-minute reset. The next time you feel that stressor hit, don't argue with your thoughts. Just go change your temperature.